Hello, it's Annie Oakley back with you. Um, just got a couple questions for you. First of all, why? Why do you stack silver? And why or do you prep? Do you have extra food in your house? How long can you survive without the grocery store? I brought a few items up here, and I actually was making this video and I accidentally shut my camera off, so I'm redoing it. Okay, here we've got some dried pinto beans. These things will keep for quite a while if you store them in a cool, dry spot. Cheap, healthy food loaded with protein. These beans, they're great, but when you go to prepare them, you've got to soak them overnight. It takes several hours to get those beans ready to eat. And then you got to cook them for a while. So I did some canning last winter, or maybe it was, well, actually it was in January of this year. I've got some great northern beans, I've got some black beans, and I canned some pinto beans. And I use different sizes because it depends on how many people are here. If I'm going to have several people, I can whip up a pot of chili and nothing flat. If the electricity goes out, and we all have power outages from time to time, this is easy if you've got a way to heat your food up. It's easy. Also, I brought back another one of my cans of beef stew, and it's so easy. You've got to have a way to heat it up, and when you open your home canned goods, well, this one I did in April of 22. Always make sure that that you hear a pop on the lid. Okay. When you take the lid off, you might notice there's a little black on the underside of the lid. Is there pepper in it? And even if there's not, sometimes those lids turn a little black. Also, smell it. Does it smell like beans? If it smells awful, get rid of it. And the other thing, always heat your food up really good. I trust my canning, but I never take any chances, ever. I take my canning very, very seriously because I don't want to injure someone or worse. So those three things: make sure the lid pops, make sure it smells like it should, and heat it up really well. By canning these beans, I've saved myself time and water. I can just dump these in a pot, throw a little browned meat in there, and I'll have a good meal. So there you go. Also, when you're canning, make sure you're using the right equipment for what you're doing. The beans, I use a pressure canner because it's a low acid food. Just like the beef stew, always a pressure canner. And follow the directions in the book for your canner. And what you're doing, you've got to have your gauge set right. You've got to do the correct amount of time. It's not hard. Just follow the directions. My mother always said, if you can read, you can cook. And that's true. Don't take any shortcuts with canning. These are the pickled peppers. And we did these in a water bath canner. These we added vinegar to. And vinegar is it's a high acid food. And I do believe it's got to be 5% vinegar. They are selling 4% vinegar, I've noticed, so pay attention to what you're getting. Also, since we live so far out in the country, I always keep some of this around. Everybody makes fun of it and says it's awful. It's not. You can make a quick quart of milk, cool it off in the fridge. I always put a pinch of vanilla in it, shake it up good, and it's great for any gravies, sauces, any baking. It works. It works great. So I always keep this around. It saves me a lot of time. Okay, and I also keep a little goat milk around. The expiration date on this is April of 26, and I've had that for 2 or 3 years. So I'm thinking, and this is just me, and I'm probably wrong, but I'm thinking if it's good till 2026, it's possible it'll be good till 2028. I mean, if somebody's got a baby or a little kid, you know, I mean, I'd make sure it was good before I gave it to a little person. But that's why I keep the little canned milk around. Now, about 18 months ago or so, you know, it's probably been a couple years ago, I went out and bought these. And I told several people, go get you some canned beans and some canned corn. And they were 50 cents a can. And I thought that was a good deal, and I'd heard those prices were going to spike. So I did. I went out and bought a few cases of both. And we've used them right along. I've still got some left. The other day, I heard RFK talking about taking the dye and all this stuff out of the Fruit Loops and whatever, the red dye number 40 and yellow dye, whatever, that we've been eating for the last lot of years. Now they're saying that some of these cans, and I don't know which ones it is, something in the lining isn't the way it's supposed to be, and they're going to change that. And I say thanks for telling us now, you know? Okay. Now, also, I've started using lard. I used to use shortening on everything. Well, a while back, I was going to whip up an apple pie. And for the life of me, I couldn't get the crust. For whatever reason, I never had so much trouble. But I couldn't roll out a pie crust. And I just got mad and went and bought pie crust for it. So, you know, what's the point in baking the pie if you can't do the crust? Well, one day in the store, I saw one of these buckets of this lard, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try that. This is the perfect substitute, and I shouldn't even call it a substitute because this works so much better, and actually, I think it's better for our family to use this than shortening. It's kind of like butter versus margarine. We don't use margarine. We haven't used margarine for over 20 years. We just use butter. put it in the cabinet. You make a piece of toast in the morning and the butter's fine. Whatever, that's what I've been doing. Also, this lard, I keep it cool because it'll get rancid if it gets warm. I mean, I keep it in a cool room. I don't put it in the refrigerator. I could, but I don't. Also, I got this out because I thought I would mention last fall when I was getting ready to bake some rolls, I came across some of the yeast out in my freezer, and it had an expiration date of 2016. I took it out, let it come to room temperature, baked some rolls, and guess what? They turned out beautiful. Now, I wouldn't tell anybody else to use expired yeast because it stinks when things don't turn out and you've used all those ingredients. But it worked for me. Once again, I set these here, and I have no sponsors. I'm just a little tiny channel. I want you to be able to see them. They're called 4 jars. These are the best canning lids on the planet, in my opinion. I seriously have never had one fail, which is awesome. Okay, now I also always keep vinegar, white vinegar, and apple cider vinegar because it's got so many uses. I've noticed that vinegar is starting to really go up in price like everything else, but it's kind of shocking. So, if you can afford to get an extra jug or two of vinegar, I would definitely do it. Like, I use it to wash my windows, the white vinegar and newspaper. It's so many cleaning things and cooking things. I always put a little, probably a couple tablespoons of white vinegar in my canner just to help keep the jars from water spotting because our water out here is so hard. Let's see. Also, I brought my zucchini out here. I've got a couple. I did mention in an earlier video how our zucchinis and peppers and cucumbers and tomatoes, like our whole garden really has struggled. And right now it's starting to get a little more productive. The cucumber vines are pretty well gone, and I don't know why. In the past, whenever I've planted zucchinis, I always get the zucchini bugs and, whatever, and I have a lot of zucchinis. And this year, so far, I probably had a half a dozen. And I don't know what's going on. And I've just noticed here in the last 2 to 3 weeks, the pollinators are showing up just all of a sudden, and here it is, almost the middle of October already. So my garden is running out of time because it'll freeze and that'll be the end of it. Okay, now I'm going to pick my camera up. I'm going to show you my Mrs. Wages canning book. I found this in a farm store, and it's very comparable to the Ball Blue book. And if you're canning or water bath canning, this book is a must. It really is. So I've used mine a ton, and it's well worth it. Okay, now I'm gonna stand up here and show you I'm gonna try to show you this is my pressure canner, and this is my water bath canner. And always make sure that you use the right equipment for the right project. So that is probably about the long and the short of it. And like I always say, are you a prepper? If you're not, you need to be, because we are living in some precarious times, and we need to have some food on hand. We need water, and when our electricity went off a few years ago for almost a whole day, I had water stored. Water is very difficult to store. I got some I think they're 6-gallon jugs I got at the farm store, and I did a little research, and I don't remember how much it was, and I'm not even going to say it, but you can get some little tablets to put in your water to keep it decent for quite a while. And if you're worried about it, you can boil your water, or you can get some type of a filter, like the Alexa Pure Pro. That's what I've got, and I've had mine for 12 or 13 years, and I usually buy new filters about once every probably 12 to 18 months. I need to get some again. And it is supposed to clear up any water. They say you can, go get rainwater out of a puddle and dump it in there, and it'll purify it. I have not tried that. I hope I never have to. But anyway, that's kind of my story, and I'm sticking to it. Stacking is fun and rewarding, but so is prepping. And it's also good when you're gardening and you're canning your own food. It's very rewarding, and you did the work, So I figure you can save a lot of money and feed your family. So anyway, y'all have a good day. God bless you. Keep your head on a swivel. Keep your faith strong. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.